read to me the nameplate?
Judge Eboni K. Williams.
So the only thing that matters in this particular courtroom is how I see it. I am from North Carolina by way of Louisiana with some West Coast cool and a New York edge. Do we have a problem, ma'am?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Equal justice is all about the most important values of our country: freedom, integrity, and those are the things that I'm striving for. Ma'am, you run your household, this man gets to run his. I decided to become an attorney and pursue the law. I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. This court cannot hold this woman accountable. People from all sectors of life, black, white, purple, gay, straight, queer, and that's what equal justice with Judge Eboni K. Williams is all about.
Dan Johnson claims his van was sideswiped while he was volunteering on a short film for the defendant, and he wants her to cover the damages. Jasmine Jefferies says the plaintiff told her he had insurance, so she's not liable.
Dan Johnson here as my plaintiff and Jasmine Jefferies as my defendant. Mr. Johnson, I see you are suing Miss Jefferies for $3,200. You claim negligence. What brings you to court, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm suing Jasmine for $3,200 due to damages inflicted upon my van during the production of her short film.
Okay, and how do you know Jasmine, sir?
Jasmine and I, we have a mutual friend. We've known each other for about a year, and I got wind that she was funding for a short film that she was working on via GoFundMe. Her initial goal was around $10,000. I couldn't give any money, but I did want to, provide services. So I provided not only my time working as a production assistant on the set, I also provided my van, which was crucial to the entire production and was used throughout the entire shoot. And in my opinion, the shoot would not have happened had it not been for the van.
Well, let's find out if that's true. Ms. Jefferies, is it true that this gentleman's van played a fundamental part of your film?
I appreciate Dan so much for his generosity, and it was so appreciated. Of course, if he hadn't donated his van, another van would have been able to be secured.
So the court is curious, Mr. Johnson, why such generosity for a woman that sounds like is really a friend of a friend?
Well, we work in the same network. I also work as a production assistant where I've actually rented out my van to many other productions. I've never run into this type of issue before, so I figured why not help out a friend, even if it's a friend of a friend in need. This was all in good faith because I truly was under the impression that she would take care of my property. And had there been any damages, then there would be assumed responsibility at least.
Okay, and did you two have an insurance conversation at any point?
Yes.
We did, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
We had a verbal conversation before the shoot even began. I asked him, do you have insurance for your van? He said yes.
Okay.
And that was it. So I assumed he had insurance. Of course, because I didn't want my production to be liable, I did get liability insurance in case there was something catastrophic that happened on production.
Okay.
But unfortunately, who could predict a hit and run?
And what ultimately did happen here, Mr. Johnson?
Well, I wish that I was there to actually witness what had happened. We had parked the van in an alley. We were doing the last day of shooting, and we had simply parked the van in a nice, safe, legal spot.
Okay.
And then I was unloading the van. Miss Jefferies was left in charge with making sure that the van and its contents were kept secure.
Okay.
During that time, a driver did come by and allegedly sideswiped the van. Unfortunately, Miss Jefferies was not able to get a license plate or even get a description of what had happened or who caused this crime, leading damages to my van now. And
So like a hit and run, essentially.
Correct, Your Honor, yes.
Go ahead and give your evidence folder to my bailiff, please, sir. Thank you. The whole folder, please, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, yeah, I am seeing this definitely looks like a side swipe to me.
Yes, so you can see, Your Honor, there is damage along the side paneling on the doors.
Yeah, all of this is going to have to be replaced.
And down to the bumper as well, yeah. And you can see that I do have an invoice attached as part of my evidence as well.
Okay, let's see here what this invoice. So this is the repair work.
That is, yeah, correct. That
yes.
is the repair work. You can see that it is already paid for in
Yes,
full.
I see. Both the front fenders, the tear down, okay.
Yes, and I got that because Miss Jefferies had actually asked me to get an estimate, and I needed to get the damages fixed because this is my livelihood. If I didn't get them, this could lead to more damages. I would hate for it
You
to
would
rain
incur
and
more
then
loss.
rust.
I understand, sir.
Exactly.
So you paid $3,200, which is the amount you're seeking from the defendant today.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and let's talk about the hit and run, because I'm looking at this map here. I see where the filming location is. I see where, and did you park in this
Yes.
space?
I did park it there, yes.
Okay.
That is a legal space.
So you do agree, ma'am, though, that the car was not in a prohibitive location?
No, it was in a legal parking spot.
Okay, so this really just was a third-party wrongdoing that now we're trying to figure out who's responsible for the damages.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
Why such generosity?
My motive behind it
Yes.
was really just to help out another filmmaker. I mean, I've worked on many
Are you
films
sure
myself.
that's it? Do you have a crush on this lady?
And later,
Vivian lost her job, and Carly's hours were reduced to 1 shift a week, so a lot of the rent and the financial responsibility for our home was placed onto me.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a dispute between Dan Johnson and Jasmine Jefferies over a damaged van.
Your Honor, if I may add, she does say that these damages were not occurred by the production, but I would like to state that had it not been for the production, the van would have been home safe and out of harm's way.
I understand that. That's a fair point. But it's also a fair point, I think, that nobody asked you to do any of this, sir. Did you, ma'am?
No.
Okay, you just volunteered, kind of raised your hand to be the savior here and incurred substantial damage in the process. And I'm kind of still stuck on what made you want to be so generous as to not only volunteer your time as a professional production assistant, which we all know is of extreme value, but also the van. Why such generosity?
My motive behind it
Yes.
was really just to help out another filmmaker. I mean, I've worked on many
Are
films
you sure
myself.
that's it? Do you have a crush on this lady? That's just what, let's
No,
just
I'm
get to it.
engaged, Your Honor.
Okay. This is interesting. Do you have any evidence for the court, ma'am? Please give your folder, your entire
Yes.
folder, to my bailiff. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay. I am looking here at this insurance declaration that the defendant has provided, and it does seem she is consistent that only liability was at play. So it's not as if she's holding out any coverage from you. There's no coverage to be
No.
had. And why didn't you avail yourself to your coverage, sir? Because you said that you told her you had insurance.
Correct. So I do have insurance, but I also have just liability coverage as well. Yeah.
And Your Honor,
Yeah.
I assumed because we live in LA, he would have more than that, because it is common for a car to get hit, sideswept on the street in general. Like my boyfriend's car, he lives on Pico Robertson. He's gotten hit by his neighbors 3 times, unfortunately.
So neither one of you two had the good sense to clarify what type of insurance was at play.
Yeah, I assume
You assume he had comprehensive coverage, and
Yeah.
you assumed she had comprehensive
Well,
coverage.
Your Honor, I assume that she would take liability because why would she go as far as to add it to her insurance was sort of my thought process behind it.
for catastrophes.
I would say that this is catastrophic.
Yes, but a third party did that. You should be suing the person who hit your friend.
Okay, hold on. Well, the issue is, ma'am, he has no ability to sue. I think I'm sure he would love to be suing the person that actually hit him, correct?
I would love to. I would love that.
We don't have any information, so he's trying to get the only pocket that he has access to. So that's why you're here, ma'am. And there's also an argument, as he made to the court, that but for your production and his participation in it, voluntary or not, no damage would have been ensued, you know? And what would your retort to that argument be, ma'am?
If he went to go work and he parked near his work, right, and not at the works garage, just parked on the street in LA, and it got hit, his work wouldn't have been liable for that.
And one final question for you, ma'am. Why not get the comprehensive coverage?
I assume
Because if
he
you're going to
had
make
it.
the step,
Yeah.
right? Because this is where I was with you, and then you kind of lost me.
Yeah.
You asked rightfully, sir, it's your vehicle. Do you have insurance coverage? That was the right thing to do, right? He just simply says yes. He doesn't specify. You don't ask clarifying questions, so you both make your own assumptions.
Yeah.
But then you do an interesting thing, which is after hearing that the man has coverage on his own car, you go and procure additional coverage, but you do it in a very limited capacity. Why is that?
Because typically for filmmakers, if they're renting the car out and they're the ones that are going to be driving it, they would get comprehensive coverage. But since this was a really low budget project and he was the one driving it and there was no contract, typically you don't need to get that level of coverage. You just need to get catastrophic liability coverage in case the van hits someone.
Correct.
Or the driver,
Well, okay, all right. Thank you, too. I think I've heard enough here, and I am prepared to make a ruling here. Listen, Mr. Johnson, I was skeptical, but I now feel convinced that you really were just trying to be a very good guy here. Just really trying to be the ultimate good Samaritan and hero of this moment. But we all know that saying good deeds often do not go unpunished. And so unfortunately for you, you know, she's right. You know this. This is a city where people get hit and ran every day. And people often don't have coverage, nor do they even stick around for you to find out. So the nature of what happened to you, the court feels, is foreseeable enough to where you could have done some more caretaking on your part. A, had your car covered with comprehensive coverage, and B, just probably been a little more attentive to your own vehicle, so maybe you could have seen who hit your car. Ma'am, that said, you did get an amazing upside to this whole situation. You got free services, you got free vehicle services, and then you, again, to my bewilderment, get some coverage, but not adequate coverage. So this is what I'm gonna do. I think you both failed to ask important questions around the nature of the coverage. You failed that, and sir, you failed that. So I'm gonna allow you both to eat it. I'm going to rule in favor of the plaintiff because I don't think that you should have to eat this entirety by yourself. You were trying to do the right thing. But you, ma'am, you know, need to participate in some of this as well. I'm going to rule in favor of the plaintiff, but only for half of your demand. So you're going to get $1,600, sir. That's my ruling.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All rise.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $1,600.
I think this sets a really poor precedent for filmmakers.
Any final thoughts, sir?
That's fair.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
Put my amethyst ring that my mother gave me in my cabinet, or well, in our shared bathroom cabinet, but on my shelf.
Okay.
And then when I woke up to go back to get my ring in the morning in our shared household bathroom, it was gone.
This is Equal Justice. Sadie Hunt claims her ring and rent money were stolen after her ex-roommates brought in a subletter. Vivian Wexler and Carly Jensen say the ring was probably misplaced and the subletter helped pay the rent.
Ladies, I see I have Sadie Hunt as my plaintiff and two defendants here, Vivian Wexler as well as Carly Jensen. Ms. Hunt, you are suing both defendants for $1,447. What brings you to court, ma'am?
Yes, so Miss Vivian and Miss Carly were both my roommates.
Okay.
We were roommates for about 3 years. For the first year and a half, everything was good. But then right around the year and a half mark is when Vivian lost her job and Carly's hours were reduced to 1 shift a week. So a lot of the rent and the financial responsibility for our home was placed onto me.
Okay, and what was the term of the lease?
We were each on the lease. We each paid $1,200, split $3,600 between the three of us equally.
Okay, and you have a lease agreement for me?
Yes, I do.
Please give your whole folder to Elijah. Thank you.
Here you go.
I do see all three parties' names were on the lease. I don't see anything in here about subletting because I know eventually that became an issue, correct?
A big issue occurred when both Vivian and Carly could no longer pay for their $1,200 that we had agreed upon.
Yep.
So they ended up bringing in a subletter named Garrett to rent out Vivian's room.
Okay, so first of all, Vivian, where were you during the sublet?
I was living with Carly.
So you moved into her room?
Yes, we agreed for the 2 months that we were subletting to Garrett that I would move in with Carly and that he would take over my room and therefore my portion of the rent.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
There's no, proof as to whether or not this ring was stolen. I misplace things all the time. It doesn't mean that I make other people responsible.
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a case of Sadie Hunt, who brought Vivian Wexler and Carly Jensen to court for a missing ring and rent money.
And so you didn't know that they were, for lack of a better term, scheming to double up on the rent distribution, get this room rented out for, you said 2 months?
Yeah.
You guys did this? Okay, so that would have bought in, what, $2,400 to go towards the rent, and you would have seen none of that.
Right.
Why not allow the other roommate to participate on the take?
Because our priority's always been paying the rent, and we feared that if we approached her sooner that she would have frowned upon it, but we wanted to focus on making our lease agreement honored.
Okay, so said another way, y'all just wanted to make sure you could make the rent.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I see there's some evidence around a jewelry appraisal, $847 for a ring.
Yes.
What's this about, ma'am?
So when Vivian and Carly let their subletter come in, I work all day and then I come home late. So around 7 p.m. I came home, got in the shower, put my amethyst ring that my mother gave me in my cabinet, in our shared bathroom cabinet, but on my shelf.
Okay.
And then when I woke up to go back to get my ring in the morning in our shared household bathroom, it was gone. And this ring is worth over $800.
Allegedly.
Well, it was appraised.
I do see the appraisal, but I do want clarity from you, Madam Plaintiff. You're asking the court to award you $1,447.
Yes.
But $1,200 of that is the rent.
Right, altogether with the $600 from the rent and with
so you
the
want
ring.
$600 for the rent?
Yes.
Okay, all right, it's starting to make some sense. All right, before I make my ruling, do either of you two have anything you'd like to say separately or jointly?
There's no, proof as to whether or not this ring was stolen. I misplace things all the time. It doesn't mean that I make other people responsible for paying for my lost belongings. And as for, the rent situation, we did lose our privacy by sharing a room. We had to make a sacrifice with our space. This wasn't an ideal situation for any of us.
Judge Eboni's verdict when Equal Justice returns. This is Equal Justice.
Okay, ladies, I'm ready to make a ruling here. You two set up a scheme that made sense under your circumstances. The issue is that you did not include an equitable, beneficial party, which was your third roommate, in on the take. So at this point, it becomes an unjustly enriched scenario where you two are disproportionately benefiting from a set agreed upon rent. Y'all decided to double up to benefit, and she should have been brought in on the benefit. You decided to exclude her, so I'm going to include her. Now, this ring. I appreciate the appraisal. I really do, ma'am. But what I'm missing is compelling evidence, a photo, a video that shows this subletter stealing your property. And you haven't presented it, ma'am. So I rule in favor of the plaintiff, but only for the $600 of overpaid rent. $600 for the plaintiff. That's my ruling.
All rise.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendants are ordered to pay $600.
I think that the agreement makes sense. There was no evidence with the ring, so I don't think that was on us, and yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I'm just happy I'm getting at least some of the money that I spent back.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.